Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boscheman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive podcast. In this episode of the Weekly Compass, we're going to take a look at the energies and the numerology for the week of April 5th through April 11th, 2021. Before I get into the reading, I wanted to mention that the April forecast for each life path number is up on YouTube and my podcast now. So if you haven't checked yours out, go on over and check it out. This, of course, is a general reading. If you're interested in a personalized reading, please book some time with me. My information is in the description box below. Okay, so looking at the numerology this week, we start the week off with a 5 energetic cycle. And so I feel like with this energy at this time, we're really being asked to be more versatile in how we approach things. So this is going to be a time where we're going to be asked to have an open mind approach, where things are viewed as much more sort of multifaceted and nuanced. Doing that will allow us to sort of gain additional information around the situation. So this is going to be a time to sort of take the blinders off. An approach that only allows for tunnel vision at this time is going to leave us feeling stuck, okay? It's like we're not going to be able to see anything clearly if we're hyper focused on one thing or one idea or one belief system, okay? So this is going to be a time where you're going to be asked to become the observer and to look at the situation from as many angles as possible. In being able to do that, I think you're going to find a lot more clarity in that way, and things will become a little bit less challenging. As we move into the end of the week, we're hit with this 11-2 master energy once more. We recently had an 11-2 energy, and so pay attention to, if you remember how that sort of surfaced for you, you may see things around this energy surface again, because I think it was just last week's reading we had 11-2 energy. Anyway, but we've got this 11-2 master energy coming in on the 11th. And this is going to be asking us, it's sort of like the higher expression of 11-2 energy is really idealistic and very compassionate for all living beings. Okay, so you can kind of tell when an 11-2 life path is in alignment because they really embody that idealistic viewpoint, and they are very compassionate and empathetic to all living beings, regardless of someone's station in life, okay? So I feel like that energy is going to be coming in really strongly around the 11th. So you may find that you're being asked at this time to really empathize with another rather than sort of force your will onto them. This can be a time when feeling connected to the whole can come in really strongly. So really, if you can, embrace that feeling and see what you can do with it, right? How can you be more, or how can you bring more compassion for self and others into your life at this time? I think that's going to be really important and really highlighted, and I think that it'll allow you to sort of sink into this energy much more organically and just really embrace it. Sometimes when we're faced with that sort of master level energy, the challenges can be a little bit more intense. And if we sort of fight it or don't sort of get the lesson, then it can be a little bit more challenging. So I would say just see where you can be, again, more compassionate with not only others, but also with yourself at this time. And also, how can you empathize with another? So one thing I want to mention is we've also got this new moon in Aries that's coming up at the 11th, or around the 11th, depending on where you live in the world. And so you might have sort of that fire energy coming in for you at this time where you want to take immediate action, or you want to be really hyper-focused on self and maybe getting ahead, that sort of thing. But I think you're going to be sort of asked to complement that energy with that compassion, with that empathy. And something that to keep in mind is because it's this new moon, right? Nothing is really illuminated at this time. So some things may still be hidden from view right now that you're not meant to know. So it's kind of like if you feel like you want to take this immediate action, you might not have all of the pieces to the puzzle just yet because they might be out of view, but, sort of entertain it, explore it. Again, marry that with that compassionate energy and just see where that takes you. But try not to get too frustrated if you get this urge to do something, like initiate something and take immediate action on something because of that fire Aries energy. Because I feel like some things might still be hidden from view, but they'll come into view when the time is right. So just sort of try to go with the flow as much as possible. So looking at the energies for this week, we start the week off with this energy of feeling like moving into a less challenging time. So it's kind of like, what's interesting is it's almost like you making the decision to make things less challenging for yourself, if that makes sense. So it's almost like you are making a very concerted effort or a very decisive choice to make things easier for yourself, to take a look at your current approach to the situation and ask yourself, how can you adjust, how you're approaching this, how you're showing up to sort of make things flow more smoothly. So the question is really, where might you be overcomplicating something? This can be relationships or job or anything. But it's almost like that aha moment where it's like, why am I making this so difficult? This should be way easier. And I'm overanalyzing, or I'm overthinking this, or I'm just putting in way too much effort, beyond what's necessary. Let me take a step back here and see, how am I approaching this and how can I make adjustments here? Because it's almost that feeling of like, sometimes life happens and those experiences are challenging. And the only thing we can do is figure out a way to overcome them. But sometimes in life, we're the ones who make things more challenging than they need to be, okay? Through again, overanalyzing or keeping ourselves stuck in a situation or whatever the case may be. But I'm getting the feeling that that's the case now, is that it's going to be highlighted for you where you're just kind of making things more complicated, and it will become apparent to you how you can make some adjustments, even if they're slight adjustments, to make things a little bit easier or to run more smoothly. So I see that energy coming in at the beginning of the week. So pay attention to what's highlighted for you at this time, because I feel like the universe is going to show you where you're overcomplicating things and where you can make some minor adjustments and things will move much more smoothly. Midweek, we have this energy of sort of looking to the future and just kind of taking stock of, this is more like contemplation. This isn't really like action, like taking action. This is more, again, contemplation, going within, just really kind of getting a game plan is what it feels like. And I feel like you may have some kind of ideas surface at this time that may have you shift your approach, again, kind of shift your direction a little bit. And not like a huge upheaval, but almost like taking a look at a different direction and a way to do things a little bit differently, that feel more like fulfilling for you and feel more aligned with your purpose. So this, again, just feels like the contemplation mode, like the integration mode, maybe like what's come in, the ideas come in, and now you're contemplating. You're allowing it to integrate before you take immediate action. So that's kind of the energy that's circulating midweek, is that contemplative energy of maybe some new ideas coming in, and you kind of explore each of them to see which one sort of fits for you. Again, this can be around relationships as well. But it does feel like this really does tie in with that energy at the beginning of the week, because it's almost like you're shifting from the way you were doing things and going to take a different approach. That's exactly the way it feels. And it's almost like instead of looking at it from a place out of obligation, you're looking at it from a space of, how can I shift and do this in a way that feels more aligned, that feels more driven by my passion, by what I love, by my soul. And so I'm really getting that energy pretty strongly. It's almost like the um, the sort of nail in the coffin maybe happened at the beginning of the week, where it's like it really forced you to take a closer look at how you were doing things. And then midweek, you start to kind of make that shift. And again, kind of looking to your future to see how can I shift and do things differently to get a different outcome and to make things move much more smoothly. So that's really what I see coming in midweek, is actually starting to mentally shift as well as emotionally and all those things, but really mentally, because you're taking a closer look at and really contemplating your next approach, your next step. And then we move into the end of the week, and this is beautiful energy. This is really, really joyful, content energy. I do kind of see the energy for working with others, collaboration, sharing ideas, sort of brainstorming maybe, and maybe even coming into partnerships with other people. This can be work related, or it can be like investments or buying a property together. Or again, like even, getting engaged or getting married or having children or deciding to have children. It just seems like working with other people to create something or to work towards something together. This again feels like that, taking those blinders off and having that compassion for others, as well as other people's ideas and inspirations, as well as, their experiences and what they bring to the table. So it's kind of like if you can find a way to really embody that 11-2 energy and have that compassion for others and their experiences, it's going to bring something to your life as well. So it's not just about, just compromising yourself and showing up and sort of playing the game. It's a matter of actually truly being interested in what these people have to say and collaborating with them in a way where it's like you also will learn something or, acquire some kind of wisdom through this collaboration. And I see a tremendous amount of joy through this. So again, it's like if you can kind of take the blinders off and not be so hyper-focused, if you are, right? Not be so hyper-focused on your, you getting ahead or your accomplishments or whatever the case may be, right? Or your beliefs or whatever. And just really finding a way to compromise and have that compassion and empathy. I think that's going to really boost your energy and your progression forward. So really beautiful energy. Definitely seeing that 11-2 energy coming in strong at the end of the week. So yeah, so it's just really the sort of the theme this week feels a lot like just shifting gears and just making things a lot easier on yourself and being a lot easier on yourself, right? Like not being so judgmental and so critical of yourself and your actions, and just giving yourself some credit and allowing yourself to have an open mind and take a different approach if the current approach that you're taking isn't working, okay? So yeah, beautiful energy this week. I hope it's a productive, powerful week for you all. I think it will be. So enjoy, and I will see you all again soon. Take care. Bye for now.